pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon. This is Citizens Minutes 33rd edition. My name is Robert Wilkins. After 3 days of cold temperature on the plains, this February weather has glimpses of spring. There was a total of 4 citizens during the Open Citizens Forum that spoke. First citizen spoke who received severe leg injuries during a jog in front of the beacon that had no sign or crosswalking markings. The second citizen talked about her tenant, Vaping Jay, after 10 years being affected by the new Alabama law. While the third speaker, who is the owner of Vapon Jay, was losing her business because of this law. And the last citizen spoke about his admiration for the council and staff, his love for the new city logo, and the upgrade to Veterans Park.
Ms. Crouch, real quick, if I could interject. On the Board of Education, the member of our Board of Education whose term is expiring is Blake Prestridge. Blake has served for the last 4 years. He took the place of a member of the board that had to retire after 1 year of serving on the board. Blake will be seeking his first full term, and as we have done in the past, when members of our boards, particularly school and planning, have served a term and have done a good job and have been invested, we have moved them forward. And so I'll be asking the City Council, potentially Megan at the next meeting, to suspend the rules and go ahead and reappoint Mr. Prestridge back to the school board.
Real quickly, if you want to consider that, do you want us to open up the application process now or wait? Because people will apply.
I would like for you to wait.
I know what it's like living in subsidized housing. I'm a product of it. So what I do is not a job, it's a passion of what I do. And our family, there's been a lot of wonderful development in Auburn, but our families just have not had the opportunity to participate in that. And this will give them the opportunity to do so. So I want folks to come in to apply, not knowing that it's subsidized housing, because you don't see, it doesn't have that look of affordable housing. So.
Item 10A5 is a request for conditional use approval of a commercial and entertainment use, a specialty retailer of consumable hemp products for property located at 1452 Opelika Road, Suite C, in the Corridor Redevelopment Suburban Zoning District. This project is known as Vapon Jay's. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request at its February 12th meeting. A public hearing is required.
This was a bill that was passed in the last legislative session in 2025. The law became effective on January 1 of this year, and the law is Alabama's first attempt to broadly regulate what is known in the Act as consumable hemp products. And the first thing the Act does is define what a consumable hemp product is, and that is any product that a human can consume that contains a cannabinoid. Cannabinoid, broadly defined within the Act, includes both THC, which some of you are familiar with as the active, psychoactive ingredient in marijuana, and CBD, which is not a psychoactive chemical, but is a broadly refined product from the hemp plant. The only power that the Act directly delegates to cities is the authority to approve the license before it is issued by ABC. Otherwise, the state and the ABC board is vested with the enforcement and control of the powers vested by this particular act, like restrictions on the hours of sale, proximity restrictions. You could enact restrictions as to the proximity of these retailers to things like schools and playgrounds and churches. Those don't exist in the city code as of today. From my office's perspective, if the council were in favor of considering changes either to the code or to the zoning ordinance in advance of reviewing and approving the first licensure application, we would advise the council to have time to consider those potential changes and to put them in place before the first licenses is reviewed and approved or disapproved.
So can this council expect to see other businesses within the city who are have a similar use applying for licenses as well?
I would expect so. I would also expect that the council could see some pharmacies and some food retailers with a large enough square footage within their facilities to apply as well.
Does that mean that you can get high? Can you have?
One would assume.
Okay.
I appreciate all that you guys do and ladies. I am here tonight on the Vaping Jays. Megan Hartsey has been a tenant of mine for 9 years. And during that time, she has been a godsend to my property. There are other spaces there. I am not there during the day. She is my eyes and ears, and an extremely responsible person and human being who has gone through tremendous trials. And this has been another one. This law that was passed, which obviously y'all did not pass it, the state did, has caused her to not be able to sell half of her products legally. She has removed them from the shelves and does not have that income. So that threatens her business. It then threatens her employees as well as me. It threatens me too, as being the building owner and the person she writes her checks to, her rent checks to. I understand that you need some time to look at this, but I would challenge each of you to speak with her, who has been dealing in this business with this type of products for almost a decade, and talk to her. She has an incredible amount of knowledge, and she wants to do it right. That's why we're here. That's why she's here and applying for this.
As explained to you guys, I've operated this business for 10 years. Because of the way that this law is set up, I'm being forced to separate it into the unit next door, not just because that's the way the law is written, but it is because I don't want to add alcohol to my business model. I could have just requested that additional license through ABC and just turned my store into a package store, and you would have only seen me for that license approval. But because I stand firm in my belief of the harm reduction that I do add to this community and the amount of people that I do help with pain and in my vape shop with reducing their harm from tobacco. But this is going to be devastating to my business to wait until April when I've already been down since the 1st of January. This is literally 50% of my income. So I encourage you guys, if you do need some resources between now and April, please reach out to me. Let me be a source to help you guys. Maybe guide some zoning restrictions if they need to be placed on this. I do recommend the only thing that you do try to regulate that the state has not already is perhaps make it the same as a vapor license where we have to be so many feet away from a school or a church, which my businesses already are. Or if there's any questions, I would love to take them tonight. I would love to clarify some of the confusion that is around this business in any way that I can.
Okay. All right. Thank you. If there's some questions, people will know how to reach out to you. And if you're here after we get through here in just a minute, there might be some conversations then.
I'll definitely hang out.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. Okay, so what's the impact going to be if we wait 2 months versus 1 month, or?
This law, it has me down to myself and one employee right now. I've had to let everybody go that's worked for me. I don't know if I'm gonna make it until April, but I'm gonna try. This is literally 50% of my income, and I am a single mother. I'm literally having to put my house on the market because of having to wait until this point.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely.
In the ideal world that you get your license and everything has worked out on from our side of the business, will you be able to function as a business under these new restrictions?
Yes. Yes, I need that additional income with this license because it took both of those products in my previous business model to be successful because of the way there's so many licenses or so many stores in town. We've kind of split our income a lot of different ways with a lot of our products.
Okay, great. I'd like to speak with you afterwards as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you already have the license, or are you waiting for us?
I have a specialty vapor license.
Okay.
And I am not allowed to keep the products together like I have done for almost the last 9 years. The legislature is going to require that I either move it separately into a standalone business, or I can house it on nicotine next to my hemp with alcohol. And I just do not want that product base added to my harm reduction mindset that I like to contribute to the community.
So if you had nicotine and alcohol, you could keep it all together?
I could just apply for a liquor license and the consumable hemp license at the same time and would just come before you guys for that license approval. I chose to do things the hard way, and I guess I am reaping the benefits of that.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Please.
In accordance with Robert's rules, I move that we reconsider our action relative to item 10A5, specifically the delay period that we established with the amendment. To do this, to reconsider this, does require the majority of the council be willing to reconsider it.
Just as long as you're on the prevailing side, which he was, you guys were
Yeah,
unanimous.
We're on the prevailing side.
He would
right.
need a second, and you guys can then
Second.
discuss further.
Have a motion and a second. See, further discussion? You want?
Well, obviously, it's, the 2 months is going to ruin their business. So I'm wondering perhaps if we could lessen that delay and let the staff concentrate on this for maybe 1 month. We still need additional time for us all to consider this, I think. But a 2-month delay is going to irreparably harm the business.
I appreciate you bringing that up, Councilman Griswold. I think that's a great suggestion, and would hope that we can come to something on the 17th.
For point of clarification for me, do you want the license on the same agenda? We would move it to regular resolutions is what we would do.
Yes.
To follow the conditional use, but to not be prior to.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right.
I'm an Auburn resident and student, and I'm here to speak about pedestrian safety and an incident that changed my life. And I also want to comment that Longleaf is horrible, with one of the potholes even blowing one of my tires, and I've lived there for 2 years. It was not completely my fault.
But thank you for being here tonight.
Last year while running against traffic on September 12th on South College Street, crossing by the Beacon, I was ran over by a vehicle, even though I had the right-of-way. He was turning right, and I was running with 2 other people in a clearly visible crossing area at around 2 p.m. in the afternoon, when he turned right out of the Beacon and he failed to yield and broke my leg. I was in a hard cast up to my knee and an ACL brace connected to the cast up to my groin for 3 months. I was non-weight bearing for 30 days and on crutches until December 31st. I had just finished physical therapy on February 9th. There are no clearly marked stop signs or high visibility roadway markings at this location to show drivers where they must stop before entering the roadway. Without these visual cues, vehicles pull up too far while turning, eliminating the safety buffer pedestrians rely on and reducing visibility at a critical moment. If proper markings had been in place, the driver would have stopped behind them, leaving a protected space for pedestrians. Instead, the lack of roadway guidance contributed to a preventable collision that altered lives forever. He was inches away from crushing my head, but slammed on the brakes just in time. Running was not just exercise for me, it was my therapy. I actually ran with Jeremy Carson my entire life. My discipline, my community, and part of my future goals. Because of this crash, I will never run the way I once did, or probably at all. In a small town like Auburn, where running is so incredibly big, this is incredibly important. This injury disrupted my entire life, and every day has required rebuilding pieces that were taken in a matter of seconds. And nobody wins in situations like this. I'm asking the City Council to prioritize pedestrian safety improvements at this intersection and others like it. Installing clear stop lines and high visibility crosswalk markings, improve pedestrian right-of-way signage. It's the same way right there by Starbucks as well. With Auburn just being a walking and running community, students and residents and families rely on safe crossings every day, and technically, I had the right-of-way. A college student in Kansas was killed in a hit and run while she was running on November 4th after my accident. Her name was Elsa McGrain, and she was running on an unmarked crosswalk. I'm so lucky to not just be another number. God kept me here for a reason, so I'm doing what I think is my due diligence. I'd also do it for Elsa, someone whose voice was taken from them, and especially from something so preventable. So thank you.
Every time I have the opportunity to come and pay attention and just be a part of your meetings and so forth, it reiterates and reconfirms to me my admiration that I have for each of you and this body and the well-being that you have in store for this the village of Auburn. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. I really, really admire, and that's the word I've been coming up with. I just admire what you do and how you do it. I really like your new logo. I love that tree thing. My first major in college was forestry. And for over a third of a century, starting when Coleman and Jenna were at Wrights Mill Road with that beautiful Emily Lacey as their principal, I did tree identification walks with the kids there, third and fourth grade kids there going to the Arboretum. And they would walk over there and we had a little, that was kind of neat, but I did that with several schools here, literally for over a third of a century now. So I really, really appreciate the trees and so forth. I really like what you've done as far as upgrading and highlighting and just upgrading is the word of the Veterans Memorial Corner. That is really, really nice. It cannot shine a bright enough light on our veterans, not when they're alive or after they've passed. I really, really noticed that. I don't know that it's completely done, but it sure has taken shape, and I really, really do like it. Ron, you mentioned Mercy Medical. The way I met Del Crosby, the way I met a lot of people in this community, coaching kids at Belton Little Park, when his son, Cameron, who's now an emergency room doctor at the UAB, was 7 years old. So I was looking around and said, I need somebody to help me coach. How about you? It was Del. So for 2 years, he would coach me, and we would coach together and just had a great time and created a great friendship. He's one of my dearest friends. I sent you some photos of the skates. I'm not going to have time to really explain all that, but I speed skated for 15 years up in Illinois. Those skates belonged to a fellow named Terry Luttrell. Terry Luttrell was a neighbor of mine. And he's better known as the first lead singer of REO Speedwagon. That was a group that was founded in my hometown. And also I got to skate with Mary and Susie Blair and Rob Blair, the older kids, the siblings of Bonnie Blair. Bonnie Blair was the youngest of 6 children, and Bonnie was 2 years old when she'd come out here and skate with us. So that's the story of those skates, and it's just something that I've just really admired, and that's what the Winter Olympics does to me. I bring that on.
Henry Steele Commager was quoted as saying, "The Bill of Rights was not written to protect governments from trouble. It was written precisely to give the people the constitutional means to cause trouble for the governments they no longer trust." Citizens' questions. Peggy asked, I noticed a strong positive response that the lady with the vaping business received during the Open Citizens Forum and the questions received by the council and the city manager, while others during previous forums never received such attention. Can you give me your insight? Well, Peggy, I guess my insight is I hope that this could become a new format where citizens could have open discussion and citizens' concern during the Citizens Open Forum instead of after the forum is closed, which allows no give and take by the citizens and the council. Please make your comments on Citizens Minutes by going to nextdoor.com or youtube.com. Your counsel is only as good as the information that you gather. Good evening.
Ms. Bolt, you are done. Ms. Bolt, you are done.
And I don't know what qualifies you to make the decision, the police department needs this or too aggressive, whatever. I don't know where your qualifications come from.
Claiming that their rights were being violated. And I take my job very seriously.
A danger zone for Americans who still cherish.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Our library is not dangerous at all.
It is morally dangerous.
They do not want citizens' input. They just want our money.